we live?
Hi, Ben.
We are live.
We're
I'm going to
we're
mute everybody.
recording. You're not live.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're recording.
we are live.
We're not live.
But we're not live. We're recording.
An unusually muted announcement. I'm going to mute you all. We're recording.
But we're not live, though.
So, John, as you've just seen, is in the midst of his packing. He's given me the controls, possibly foolishly, today. This is the daily John Lavenia Mastermind success call with me, Adrian Garner. This is Seismic Thursday, as I call it, and it's the day that John normally innocently and gently lobs in a hand grenade into the debate and sends our thoughts into the stratosphere. Well, I can't follow that, but it does give me the excuse to tackle some massive global issues, but which are relevant to us as entrepreneurs and to our future working and investing. I was therefore going to address the rapidly evolving economy in Patagonia. Only joking, Mark, you don't need to switch off. By the way, John is moving, as we all know, so let's all wish him a happy Box Day. Happy Box Day, John. I was discussing this with Glenn at the weekend and remembered a quote from ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, which must have been written for John's move. Let him that would move the world first move himself, which I thought was wonderful. I'm not actually sure whether Socrates first said that or U-Haul, but I'll give Socrates the benefit of the doubt this time. Actually, the idea of Socrates driving a U-Haul trailer does really grab me. Diogenes would not have approved though, John, would he? So today I wanted really to talk about being who you want to be. Subject close to my heart. Be who you want to be, not who you have been and did not want to be. And there's no shame in any useful role in our past. As John mentioned again on Monday, Earl Nightingale said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter how you get there if you chose it and you do it for a reason and you do it well. All roles along the way are equally valid. Earl Nightingale, again, gives us the example of the wife and mother who chose this path and does it well. All experience is good experience. I mean, who has had to clean up? Who's been the tea person? Who has been the office general help? Who's been the photocopy person or the mail person? Me. And we've all had these experiences with massive value that's brought us here. Never feel ashamed of any role you've performed. Never. Rejoice in it all. No matter how people try to make you feel or how they look down on you, pity them because they have lost the experiences that you have had. And those are the experiences that forge a true and worthwhile human in the fire. These really are the experiences that teach and mold us. And a person with these experiences is a rich person for me, someone that has drawn deep from life's well. Take all the roles and experiences you can get. The person with the most experiences, again, for me, weaves the richest tapestry. But be who you want to be. Go where you want to go and do what you want to do and do it now. The lady in the coffee shop this morning handed me my coffee after a brief discussion and simply said to me, "You are the master of your own destiny." And that really stopped me in my tracks. You've got to remind yourself sometimes. You can be who you want to be. Embrace the good, embrace the bad experiences you've had, but know how to pack them away in their place and decide who you now want to be and how you want to react, how you don't want to react. Decide what you want to pack for this great journey. Don't worry as well about being judged. That's a very, very important thing. Everyone is always going to judge you, but be yourself. Earl Nightingale again said, when you judge others, you do not define them, you define yourself. Now, when you really think about it, this is incredibly profound and so true. Be yourself and don't worry about the judgments or opinions of others. I mean, after all, why are their opinions about you more important than your own opinions about you? I was once approached by a man who was clearly living rough. We were passing the window of an employment agency. I was in a full three-piece suit. We still wore them in those days. I think Charles Dickens was still around. He turned to me and said, "Do you think they have a vacancy for a Concorde pilot?" Well, Concorde was the most advanced passenger aircraft in the world at that time. It was a unique supersonic marvel. I've never forgotten that man. He made a real impact on me, and that's nearly 40 years later, long after I've forgotten many, many thousands of people. Despite his situation, the irony of it all, he expressed himself and he entered my world. He wasn't ashamed. He didn't fear rejection. He just spoke as himself with the most wonderful humor. And he connected two separate worlds and perspectives, and he really touched me. And you can do this every minute of every day if you choose to. Be out there. I mean, Evelyn's out there trying to connect us all on Facebook as one example. Now, as an aside, people tend to approach me often. I don't know why, and I've been mistaken for many people. I've been approached many, many times, and you're not going to believe this, but it happened again during Monday's call with John. Nicola Black asked if I had a twin brother because I was the double of someone in her old team. And at this point, I'm really no longer sure whether the films The Matrix or Avatar were actually real. But something that really did happen to me, I was once approached and asked if I was the villain in the last James Bond movie at that time. I'll leave you to ponder on that one. It really did happen. And no, I didn't have a white cat at the time. Sadly, also, I've not capitalized yet on being a James Bond villain. But whoever I thought I was, they thought I was someone else. It's all an illusion, a matter of perspective, and it's governed by our own perceptions. And you can change this. You can radiate a different you. You can look at yourself from a different perspective. Make your mark and express yourself as you. Be remembered, perhaps not as a James Bond villain, but be remembered as you. Be yourself no matter what, not what someone else wants you to be. Be remembered as yourself. None of us knew you a few months ago, but we all do now. We've watched you and we've listened to you and we've read you. And you now loom larger than life in our worlds, all of our worlds. We see you, we hear you, we feel you. You've moved us. You've influenced our thinking. You've altered our compass. And I really, really thank you for that. And think about all of this in the context of your own workplace, your entrepreneurial endeavors, your community, and the world. Look at Quilla. She's really stepped up. She's standing for office in the local government elections, and Quilla's going to leave her mark on the community. She's out there. Tom spoke last week. He gave me a gift. I asked him to share his thoughts, and he did. He gave us all his thoughts, and Tom connected as himself from his own experience, and it was great to hear. So thank you, Tom. We know you more now, and you've given us ideas to reflect on. And everyone else, please step forward. Let's share what you have to say. We want you. Any exchanges that I can have with a good and positive person enriches me. The names here in our group are too numerous to mention. There's Hung San, there's Bill, Ivye, Ego, Debbie, Stuart, and so many more of you. There are not enough good people out there who express themselves and connect. And you're really needed, and we need to know you, and so does the world. Everybody, but everybody has something to offer. So reach out and give it to everyone else. It's your gift to us all, to me. Everywhere you are, in every place, every day, the same thing applies. And I'm sure Glenn will be speaking to us a great deal about this sort of thing in his Wednesday talks, which we mentioned earlier. He's a deep thinker and has lots of experience, and he really can help us to put all these things into context and, more importantly, into practice. So follow up on all his talks and look at the tips he's actually given, which are very, very practical. But we also need to remember that in order to feel good and to feel positive ourselves, which in turn provides us with the wind to propel us towards our goals, or that's how I see it, we need positive feedback from the world around us. But to get that positive feedback, you need to be out there. It's a vicious circle. Or is it? No, it's not a vicious circle. It's a virtuous circle. And I really want you to catch yourselves out here, please. I mean, really, examine your mind and think to yourself whether you agreed with me when I said it was a vicious circle. If you did, that's your subconscious mindset speaking to you. I thought vicious circle when I wrote my notes, but then I realized it's a positive circle. It's a virtuous circle. My positive subconscious took over at that point. I looked up the definition of virtual circle, And businessdictionary.com's definition is a self-propagating, advantageous situation in which a successful solution leads to more of a desired result or another success, which generates still more desired results or successes in a chain. You need to be out there to receive positive feedback from the world around you to carry you on that wind and get you towards your goals. But always remember, though, that that's all very well and good, but your heart has to be in it. And I really can hear Glenn speaking to us here. If your heart is in it, I believe you can do anything, you can learn any skill, you can confront any situation, if you really want it and stay true to yourself. And that means being authentic. You can learn, you can communicate, you can negotiate, you can support, you can give. And as Ego told us, you can receive. That is all you need in your entrepreneur's toolkit and your personal toolkit to get a lot more out of your situation. But after all, we only get one shot, and I'm constantly being reminded of that as I was buying my coffee this morning. There are no reruns. Take the opportunities to express yourself now. Seize the moment, and as the Romans used to say, seize the day, carpe diem. Be it and live it. The poet John Clare said, "If life had a second edition, how I would correct the proofs." Well, let's not look back on life like that and say we wished we'd correct the proofs. We had corrected the proofs. However imperfect they are, however many corrections there may ideally have been, express yourself and be yourself every day and just do it. And there will be errors and there will be mistakes. But be out there. Catch yourself out in your thinking. What was your subconscious mind communicating to you? Old clothes in the form of old thoughts and old attitudes can be changed. Throw those old mental clothes away. Those are the clothes that someone gave to you, the clothes they dressed you in. You didn't dress yourself in them. Put simply, let's choose our own clothes. I wanted to finish by saying that Earl Nightingale again said, everything begins with an idea. Today could be that day that you act on that idea, on that change, or on that transformation. Be who you want to be, or put another way, be who you want to be. And that's the emphasis. It really does make me, when I think about it, very emotional and excited, just thinking of you all and all of us together embarking on all these new journeys. We're all going in different directions. Some of us going towards e-commerce, others in different directions, but we're all on a journey. Just place one foot in front of the other. Take one simple step at a time and don't overanalyze. Just set some primary goals and we can all work hard at them. And above all, project yourself into the world and share what it is you have to give to the world. You've got something to give. I'm going to open up in a second. Just to summarize though, is there something stopping you being who you want to be? Have you been made to feel ashamed of roles you performed in the past? Have you packed the right things for your journey? Have you always had people judging you? Are you looking from the right perspective at yourself? Are you expressing yourself? Are you actually out there to receive the positive feedback that we all need to thrive? Is your positive subconscious actually running the show? So at that point, I'd really like to hear from you. Those were just my thoughts on where we are and where we're going. Ivier has her hand up, and I'd love to hear what Ivier has to say. She has such profound things always to say. It's going to be fascinating to see how you interpreted that, Ivier.
Hi, Adrian. Hello, everyone. A few things I'm going to say. Who we are or who we project on the world is not necessarily what we have or what we do. We can reinvent ourselves again and again and again. So you may have started as the janitor in the company you work for. You may have become a sales rep. That's not who you are. That's your due. Who you are is your purpose for being here at such a time as this. Why are you part of the bigger puzzle? Each of us is a piece that fits into that jigsaw that completes the picture. Now, if that piece is not put into its proper place in the bigger picture, everybody loses out on seeing the final product, on seeing how beautiful the finished picture, the completed puzzle can be. Nobody else can take your place. We were all made to be a piece that fits into a bigger thing. So that's one thing. Second thing I was going to say was, I think that's a special thing about the family and tribe that we have here. We're creating a virtuous circle with all of us because we're collaborating, we're egging each other on, we're cheering each other on, we're supporting each other, we're pulling each other up, we're affirming each other, we're validating each other. Even though most of us may be surrounded by vicious circles. So whether it's on the family front or the work front or wider society, this right here is showing us that there is another way to go about what we want and to arrive at where we're headed. So, you know, we're starting something really special here that I don't even think I fully understand the impact of what this is. But with each passing day, I think I get more of a glimpse into what we started through this family. And it just humbles me to be part of something so genuine and something so authentic and something so connecting in a way that we haven't seen before. I mean, this is a place where you can be vulnerable. You can be yourself, you can be real. There are no judgments, there's no criticism. Where else can you go in this world and get this kind of support? Well, one, without paying for it, and two, would it be the truth, the feedback you get, you know? So it really just is amazing. And I'm just so glad for each and every one of you, you know, to be on this journey with me. I love you guys. Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
beautifully
Adrian.
put, Ivia. It's a beautiful summary, and that's exactly how I feel. I hope we're sharing fuel together to take us forward in what we've all described as a safe space. I've heard that on several calls, and I really feel it is a safe space where we can express ourselves. We've heard some wonderful things and some very personal things said, and we're all trying to support each other so we can go out into those vicious circles, as you put them, and tackle the problems we all know are out there. The world isn't a great place always outside of this lovely circle, but we have to be ready for it, and we have to be prepared to take the knocks, but have a go, because if we don't try, we're not going to move forward ourselves on our own journey. So I really feel inspired by everything everybody says, to think about what I'm doing every minute of the day and just reanalyze it and say, hang on a minute, don't fall into old habits here, get out there, take the opportunities. So I really, really agree with you. I think that's beautifully put, beautifully put. Joe and Gina have their hands up. It's Joe. Gina? Gina.
Hello, how are you?
Well, thank you.
I hope everybody-
Well, thank you. Yes.
I'm hoping
hoping-
everybody's doing wonderful today.
It's been a great week. It's gone very quickly, though.
Yeah, too quickly, right?
Absolutely.
You know, Adrian, you are amazing. I mean, what you just said this morning penetrated me so heavily. It was amazing. I don't know, the words that you said and the way you said them, it just really got to my heart. Ivy, of course, always puts her part into it and touches me as well. And I thank you both for that very much. I've been in a super slump. It seems things are just going so much harder and decisions have to be made and don't know the right and the wrong. And I don't know, it's just like I've been on this whirlwind and I don't feel like I have anything to contribute, but I feel an obligation and a duty to participate. And yet I listen to all of you and you all sound like professional speakers. It's like you have so much to offer and I just don't know what to say that I could possibly influence anybody. So I just want to know that I'm listening to you and that you've definitely influenced me. And today I think you've given me a hope that, you know, if I just keep hanging in there, things will come through. I just have to be strong and I have to keep my head above water and I've got to just know that there's a reason why I'm in this group and why what I'm doing is the right thing. You know, I'm at a point in my life where I look back in all the mistakes I made and I said, I can't make any more mistakes, you know, and moving forward, I think I'm afraid that I might make more mistakes. And this group just really helps me keep my head on board. Thank you so much.
Gina, that's wonderful. And you know, we all make a ton of mistakes and it's actually the only way that we can really get forward. I've made tons of mistakes, but you don't tend to forget them and you tend to adapt and think, I'm not doing that again. There are always challenges, but you know, you've got to learn from them. And I've been in very difficult situations. You've got to say, wow, I'm never going there again. I'm going to change my attitude, my system, my approach, my knowledge, whatever needs fixing. But again, you know, as I said during the talk, I really, really believe that anything is possible if you're yourself. And I'm sure Glenn's going to tell us that time and time again. If you're authentic and it's really you, you can express yourself. And nobody knows your opinions and your views better than you do. So don't ever be afraid to talk to a whole bunch of people about what you believe, because they don't know any better than you do what you believe. So, you know, it's daunting standing on a stage talking to 300 people, but if you know your own subject and that's how you feel, no one knows that better than you do. So I hope people are going to express themselves in these calls and just get used to doing it, because it isn't actually that bad. It takes a lot of getting over the first hurdle. But once you've got on that bike and you're riding it round, you'll never forget it. You'll do it very easily. Sure, you know, people do it in different ways. They make notes, they write the whole thing out, they speak off the cuff. It depends on the topic, whether it's highly technical, something close to your heart, something you know well. But, you know, I'd love to hear people speaking more. I just think everyone has got so much to say. And wow, have we had some powerful calls. I mean, I end the calls some days thinking, gosh, that was just incredible. And I know John does as well. So thanks, Gina, for expressing your thoughts there. And I could see it really was close to you, as it is to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Did you want to say something, baby? No? Okay, Joe's going to be quiet today.
Joe's going to be quiet today. Well, that takes us to Star.
Hello, hi everybody.
Hi.
I just, firstly, yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing extra well today for a variety of reasons. The first being Nancy's amazing yoga session just before this call, which was really, really beautiful. And it felt like it was designed just for me. So I felt like I was in the lap of luxury and totally doted on. And it made my whole body feel so much better with all the injury and everything and recovery. And secondly, just to let you know that my my upward virtuous circle is continuing. Some of you saw the post I put on Facebook yesterday about friends of mine bringing over some office equipment to improve my home office setup to assist my back and aid my healing. And everyone was saying about the law of attraction, but I think for me, the funniest part of the post was how when I explained it to Elvie, she said, is that because of all the positivity you've been doing? And then she said, positivity is like Santa. He sees when you've been doing it right and he gives you what you ask for.
I love that.
I just thought it was so funny. Positivity is Santa and he gives you what you ask for. And then today I got a text message from my manager, because I'm on annual leave this week, so I'm not at work at all, telling me that we're having our salaries reinstated.
Whoa.
In September, with a bit of backdating till the beginning of August, which is also fabulous news. So I'm just sharing that with you all, my friends, who I'm sure are pleased to see me being a bit happy because sometimes there's been, you know, and as everybody has said here, this group is amazing, and I think it's such good value, well worth the money, and the support that we get, and knowing that when we do have bad days, and if we do have a bit of a spiral, as I have on quite a few occasions of late, you know, everybody's here to support us, and, you know, you don't have to feel shy. And if you do want to come out and say something, and on that note, I'd like to echo Evelyn's message for all the people that don't normally speak up. Do come and speak up, because as is usual in any classroom setting, it's often the same group of people that put their hands up because they're not shy, whereas every single person here has got value to add. So get over that shyness and stick your hand up. And love you all.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Star. Couldn't agree more. We really want to hear from everyone. And I think efforts have been made to try and focus on the people that have never spoken. So let's hear you all. We're not going to frown on anyone. We just want to hear you. We just want to hear you. And it also shows, Star, doesn't it, that, you know, this positivity and law of attraction really does work. Ours not the reason why. We don't know why, but it does. I mean, if you follow and program your mind with the right material and think the right way over time, gradually, things start to happen. It's not always what you expect. And that's what I said to you, Star. It's not always the things you expect are going to happen, but they're good things. You can be
Exactly.
taken off on a sidetrack you never could have planned. It's happened to me so many times. I go there and
Yeah.
something wonderful comes up and takes me right off left field. But
And
what
it's
the heck?
also Napoleon Hill, how he says, if something bad happens to you, keep your eyes open for something good of equal measure just around the corner.
Yep.
And that's
So
the
true.
trick. And I think for me, that's the hard part, because I'm quite an emotional person. If something happens, I instantly react emotionally and often sort of feel like I can't cope with it. We've discussed this a couple of times this week. But I think for me will be when I can see a bad thing coming and not react emotionally to it, and just know and have the confidence that it will turn itself around. But thank you, everybody.
That's great, Star. And I think that's all part of the armor we're trying to construct for ourselves. So we've got a bit more armor, we're a bit more ready, and we're thinking the right way, and we're testing our thinking. You know, how am I thinking? Am I letting myself get controlled by negative inner thoughts, or am I in the right mindset? And it really does help. It helps me anyway.
One thing I've changed this morning, I rewrote my gratitude list, as it were. And one of the things I am now grateful for, which since this morning, I'm grateful for my thoughts. And I think in a way of framing it slightly differently, because up until recently, and since I've started doing this, I've been a little bit scared of my thoughts. Like, what if the bad one pops in? What do I do? You know? So I think I've just tried to turn that around a bit. And from this morning, my first line is, I'm grateful for my thoughts. And I have confidence that my thoughts will be the right thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on again, Star. I think you must have read the script beforehand, but you know, it's so true. And we're never going to stop those thoughts. They will always be lurking in there. We all have them, and it's just knowing and being aware of them and being ready to deal with them and reprogram and relaunch and not react badly to the wrong person in the wrong way for the wrong reason. All of these things we can sort of plan for and be aware of. Just know thyself again, as the Greek said, and be aware. Just be aware of what is happening to you, what's actually affecting you and how it's affecting you, and be ready to deal with it. No, I really absolutely agree with that. Thank you, Star. Thanks very much. And Bill has his hand up next.
Hi guys, how are you?
Great, Bill. Good to see you. Good to hear you. You're in another holiday resort, are you?
Well, sort of, yeah. It's about 4 hours down the road from me, so it's nice, but it is the full force of the Atlantic Ocean here, all the way from the States. So, but it's pretty dramatic scenery. First off, Adrian, that was very inspiring speech. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed listening to it. Much like Wayne, you have a good voice for. I was going to be rude. I could say you've got a good face for radio, as they say, but you have a good voice for doing that sort of thing, and I really appreciate it.
How about as James Bond baddie? How do you think that'll go down?
Absolutely. Second off, and this is very briefly, Joe and Gina. Gina, from me to you, you don't realize what you touch or who you touch when you're talking. I have the utmost respect for both of you guys. You spoke about a fortnight ago, I think it might have been, and it just resonated totally with how I was feeling at the time. So, and I'm sure everybody here thinks exactly the same of you guys. And I know you don't let Joe speak every now and again. I mean, I know he's on a tight leash, so but I admire him when he does speak as well, because you guys have got so much of a wealth of experience. So thank you. And I really mean that. Thank you very much. Don't let yourself get down at all. You have damn sight more experience than a lot of us, so good on you. And I'm going to keep it happy today, because I was pretty rocked last week when I opened up, and what followed after that, I thought, oh crap, what have I started? But it was actually quite nice to hear that it gave other people that confidence, and that's the sort of thing that you're saying, is be yourself. I have learned through this whole series of talks and listening to everybody else to be a much stronger person. I have always been strong. I can lead if I have to lead in any situation that I was involved in work. I didn't have a problem with that, but sometimes it was the old duck syndrome. Everything looked smooth on the top, but underneath I was doing handstands and flat spins. But the more I listen to this, the more I've listened, as John keeps harping on to me about, is listening constantly to Earl Nightingale, as you spoke today. The 4-hour journey that I came down here, I had him on loop. just playing over and over and over and over again. And the more he spoke, the more I listened to him, the more things made sense. And so today, I mean, every time I've engaged in conversation with somebody today, it's been all positive. As soon as I thought, well, I hope something's going to happen, I cut myself off. I say, no, I know something's going to happen because this is meant to be. And that's how I can find all the stuff that I've been doing of late. Listen, I've only sold one product. That doesn't really matter to me, but everything is linked together now. Everything has been set up technically. And now, as you rightly said, it's one small step at a time. And I'll go on to the next bit now. It's not a race, you know, because I'm only racing against myself at the end of the day. You know, there's nobody in this race with me. You know, it's got to be me or no me. So, yeah, I've decided that whilst I'm more than keen to open up and I could tell you, like I'm sure you could, Adrian, shed loads of stories about incidents and accidents and hints and allegations, to quote Paul Simon. But, you know, we're all good people here, and we all get so much from each other. And I'll finish with that because I'm totally with Evelyn. Come on, all you shy guys out there, get your backsides out of gear and get in here. Come on, okay?
Fantastic, Phil. That's fantastic. And you've touched on so many points. I can't really cover them all. There are so many things to think about there. But yeah, what you said about it's the old duck and the swan, serene on the surface and paddling furiously beneath the surface of the water. That's another great image. And look, we've all gone through doing that in a new situation we're not used to. You have to. You put in 10 times more work just to keep level and look serene on the surface, public speaking, whatever it is. Eventually, it becomes second nature. Just start somewhere and just keep doing it. Practicing your Amazon, practicing whatever it is, it becomes second nature. Everything, the cash flow, the business, the speaking, eventually you just get used to it. And you do less preparation each time and you just do it on autopilot. So don't be afraid of it. We all have to go through this. There's no sort of superhuman that comes striding in and says, hey, I can do it perfectly first time. That just doesn't happen. Well, for a few exceptional people that we've seen in sport, etc. But even they had to work for donkey's years to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. We're all the same.
Exactly.
Thanks,
right.
Bill. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And Kim has her hand up. Kim?
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I hear you well, loud and clear.
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you, Adrian. I really enjoyed your talk this morning. And I'm one of those people that is a little shy to speak up, even though I have spoken up. I'm a little nervous to get in front of everyone. I don't feel like I'm as well spoken as some people. So I wrote down what I wanted to say so I don't ramble. And so one of my lifelong goals is to be in Toastmasters. I want to go to Toastmasters and learn how to speak appropriately. So I'm not saying, because I do all those things. But anyway, that's beside the point. I want to just speak to what, I forget who said the puzzle piece.
EVA. Yeah.
EVA. Thank you. EVA. I just love how, she said that we all fit together. And the fact that we can be, I love the fact that we can be who we are. This is such a safe place. I feel like this is a safe place for me and everyone. I know that, everyone's echoed that and said that, but it's such a healing, safe place. And just to be able to be yourself, not be judged, to say what, you feel is on your heart, and just to see the progress within myself and everyone else in this group is just so, it's very humbling and very amazing. And when I think about it, it just overwhelms me because it's just beautiful. You can be who you are, to be who you are. That sometimes that's a little bit challenging for me to think about, because we're all shaped by, we're shaped by many things. We're shaped by our upbringing. We're shaped by our teachers. We're shaped by our society, the workplace. And, but the fact is that might shape our reality, but it doesn't define us. And so I wanted to say that to Gina, that all of those things, that have happened to us in our lives and those mistakes that we've made, that's not what defines us. We have been created specifically, with a certain element, a certain character, certain integrity, certain way of doing things. And that right there, that's what shapes us. The way we respond to people, how we love other people, how we talk to them, how we treat them. Those are the things that define who we are. And so, yeah, we make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes and we're not perfect. there's nobody, there's no one perfect person. There's no one righteous. You know, that's scriptural. There's no one righteous, not one. You know, and so when we all just keep, you know, being who we are and allowing ourselves to make those mistakes and trying to be a better person and trying to, I'm rambling. So anyway, trying to, you know, be a better person. That's what defines us. That's what, you know, helps our character. And then I wanted to talk to, one other thing I wanted to say to Gina was, the other thing, Gina, I wanted to say is that for me, a movie, you know, this may be cliche, but a movie that my children and I watch every year since my daughter was probably 8 years old. She's 25 years old, and she still asks me every year to watch this movie at Christmas. We watch It's a Wonderful Life. But what impacted me, the whole movie's great, but for me, what impacted me in the entire movie was, you know, when the angel said to Bailey, he said, you know, each life touches another. You know, you weren't here to save your brother that day, George, you know, and he said each life impacts another. And I just remember saying to my children, you know, throughout your life, you're going to impact so many people, and you can't even imagine the ripple effect that has, you know. So we might be impacting one another, but the things that we are learning here, we are impacting so many other people that we don't even realize, because the things that we gather here, we share with other people and they share with other people. So that ripple effect is just on and on and on. So I wanted to say that. And then Star, I don't know, maybe John can help me with this, but I wanted to talk about the worry. You know, I know what you're talking about because I worry and I'm anxious often. And but there's something out there that I read somewhere, so that's why I said John might be able to help me about worrying. There's a certain percentage of the things that we worry about that never even come true or come to pass, you know. So keep that in the front of your mind. You know, I think it's like 80% or 90% or something like that we worry about. None of those things even really happen. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Wow. When you say that's all you got, that you've opened up some huge areas there. You've opened up so many wonderful points, and all the things that we've been thinking of over the past few months together. You know, it reminds me, we're all frail and we're all vulnerable and we can all be hurt, but never forget, so can a bully. So can the overbearing people. They're all the same. They just put on a better front than we do. Right. So never forget that, you know, nobody's different. Nobody's different. So don't be afraid of them. They're, you know, they've got a reason for being the way they are. It's quite often insecurity and vulnerability that they're covering up. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you really reminded me of that. And also being shaped and not defined. I mean, great point. Again, you know, we're not defined by other people. We've got to define ourselves and stick to our guns. We really do. And the lovely image again of the ripples. I always think of that. I always think of the one pebble you throw into the pond and the ripples that come out and the effect you can have from a tiny impact. You just never know. And this is what I was saying a couple of weeks back, and many people have said, try and touch and reach one person. Glenn has said, you know, do an act of kindness. If you can do that, you can spread countless ripples. You don't even know where they're going to go, what they're going to change. So it's a wonderful thought, really. And we can actually do that. Isn't that great? We can really do that.
It is. It's fabulous. And it's exciting. I mean, that's an exciting thought to think we can impact so many people. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. It's the excitement, and it's excitement we need. Let's face it. We all get inspired by excitement. We don't want to be going through a humdrum day. It's exciting to think you can change things and do something different and change somebody else's day. It's a wonderful thought. Well, thanks very much for those wonderful thoughts.
Thank you. Love you all.
Yes, we love you too. And Jane has got a hand up.
Hi, thank you
Jane.
so much. Hi, thanks so much for this opportunity. I think I'm one of the people that you're talking about, just hide behind the curtains and like taking in everything. And but since I have been on this group, all my childhood limitations, every bag that I've carried with me over the years, I think it just dropped off since I've started attending. Like for example, overcoming limiting beliefs, positivity, integrity. I'm a person of integrity, but sometimes when you're confronted with people with negativity, you don't confront negativity with negativity. You counteract it with integrity and positivity. And also challenging us to whatever you have, just speak it, just say something. And from taking one step as a baby, you start to crawl and you start to crawl and you climb up the ladder. It's been really, really, this has been a healing process for me. I probably, a little bit about my background. I grew up in a very polygamous family, putting each other down, lots of competition, and I really hated competition. So as a result, I kind of just hidden into my shell and not really saying anything and just hide. Even at work, I hide. I will be the one doing the work and just pushing it across to some other people, but not really being able to speak out. But this family has really helped my healing, my mind, my confidence in myself. And yes, just the sky's the limit. Thank you so much.
Jane, that's wonderful. And it's just great to hear that people are getting something out of all these discussions. I mean, I certainly do, and I'm glad to hear that it's helped you. And you've raised so many points again, but competition, that's another great one, because, you know, this is not a competition. We're on our own journey, and we should never actually forget that. I don't care what anyone else is doing. You know, we always have a tendency. We look at what the next door neighbor's doing, or the old school friend. Oh, they've got ahead of me. They've made more. They've had a better life. Rubbish. That's just rubbish. It's your journey. Choose to make it on your own terms. Pack, as I said, what you want to pack. Make it on your own terms. We're bound to look at other people, but it's a very dangerous and negative thing to do, actually. It's the reverse of what we should be doing. We should be analyzing our own journey and its worth and what it's achieved and what it's done to help other people. It doesn't matter that the next person has made more or got a better post or a senior role or has done something incredible. Yeah, I admire them for it and respect them for it, but don't let it change your journey, because it really doesn't. So I absolutely agree with you, Jane. Thank you very, very much. Mark is in the room and has his hand up.
Adrian, what a great talk this morning. Quite an inspiration. I was just, my mind was just going 100 miles an hour. As soon as you started commenting about all these little functions and all these different things that we have to do, the first thing that came to my mind was one of the 14 traits, enthusiasm. And I look at this environment, and then just the last two shares with Kim and Jane, and you just hear it in people's voices. So even, you know, people are taking into consideration, you know, they just are approaching everything they do with some fervor, with, you know, some dedication, with some effort, and you know, and putting light on it instead of just looking at it as something that's more mundane. And really, in the definition of enthusiasm as well, that's one of the things that we guard against, is having to even work through the things that are uninteresting. As you had mentioned, you know, all the little things that we have to do in business that we still, you know, take a positive approach. And I can't say enough about this addiction of mine. And I come out and say it right away. This whole environment, everybody here in this, you know, in this family, I have to have this group in the morning. It is my conduit to the rest of the day. It's what jolts me and gets me rolling. And it helps me work through those things. Like if I'm having one of those, I don't really want to have to do this moments, you know, I think to this, I do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, I'm just like, let's go and just get it done. You know, quit thinking about it. Don't, you know, get decisive and just keep rolling. So I thank those people who keep sharing here, and I echo what everybody else is saying. If you haven't been out here and you're still sitting in the winds, this is an amazing group. You know, feel comfortable and feel confident that we want to hear what you got to say. Thank you very much.
Mark, that's great. Thanks very much. You know, it just reminds me, I think on these calls, we just get a very small glimpse of the amazing network of positive energy that's actually out there in the world. But isn't it so true that it's always the agitators, the activists, and the extremists that get heard? The good people tend to stay quiet, keep themselves to themselves. And here we're just getting a glimpse of how much positive energy and how many incredible people are really out there and how we're all connected. But if we don't go out there, as I was saying, we're not going to make those connections. We're not going to find those people and hear those things. So I think we get a small glimpse of the inspiration that's all around us. And I just love to see that. So thanks very much, Mark. And yeah, enthusiasm, you know, you can only come though if you're authentic and you believe what you're doing aligns with yourself. Then you've got natural enthusiasm. You can all see that in things you did when you were little, when you were children, things you love doing. You just throw yourself into it far more. And that's an important thing for all of us to reconnect to. I really agree with that, Mark. I think enthusiasm is it for me. You know, you can do a half-baked job or you can do a great job and do the extra hours, throw yourself in, do the extra research. That's going to come out of basic inner enthusiasm. Absolutely agree, Mark. Thank you. Glenn, the great man, has got his hand up. After last night's session, I'm dreading what he's going to say. I'm still recovering from the session. It was an interesting one.
Hey, I wasn't the one that asked the question, man. You gotta listen. I'm glad Virginia has her hands up so she can give an accounting of herself. Listen, great stuff. Your words of wisdom, Adrian, are still ringing in my ears. More about that in a second. Gina, I see you. Star, I see you. And Kim, thought you said you weren't confident in yourself as a speaker. Phenomenal. There was one thing you said, Mark, Adrian, that it, you know, and the way you phrased it and the tone of voice that made it very real for me. You said, be who you want to be. So many of us allow ourselves to get pushed around by the opinions of others, right? But then I heard somebody say one time, yeah, I used to be swayed by what other people thought of me until one month I tried to pay my bills with their opinions. I have a poem written up on a whiteboard mounted up in my office. We may have heard this before, and it's old school language, which is one of the things I love about it, and it speaks very directly to this thing of be who you want to be. You can go find it if you want to. It's a poem actually written by William Ernest Henley. It's called Invictus. You know what I'm about to read, don't you, Adrian? Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Invictus, William Ernest Henley. It's up on the wall in my office. If somebody's thinking about being pushed around, maybe it ought to be up in your office.
Glenn,
Something to think about.
I
Thanks.
think I'll probably have to
Back to you,
sit there
Adrian.
for some minutes after that to contemplate the enormity of that. It was the most beautiful language and the most beautiful poem, and I think it really, really sums it up. It's amazing. Must note that one down, and let's have it read again.
Indeed, indeed. I'll drop the poem and the author in the chat.
Thank you, Glenn. Did you want to follow up? You had other things to add?
Well, you know, I'm trying, as John says, to talk fast. And be aware of everybody's time. Y'all get to hear me run my mouth for a while every Wednesday night. So I shall defer to others. And again, echoing what has been said before, if you're here and you haven't spoken yet, or you haven't put your hand up to comment or whatever it is, know that we see you. Know that you are welcome. You're at home here, and everyone's thoughts, everyone's opinions are of equal value and equal weight and equal power. Back to you, Adrian.
Glenn, that's a great summary as always, and thank you for that amazing contribution, that amazing poem. We're going to move on to Toyin has been trying to put her hand up. Therese, we'll get to you in 1 second. Toyin can't get the hand function to work, so Toyin, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm smiling because when I hear people say, well, those of you who don't say anything, speak up, it's making me laugh because it might make people that are shy even more shy. I'm not saying that's me, but actually, when we have groups, obviously, there are always people that talk more and there are people that are quieter. And when Evelyn first put the comment in the chat, because Evelyn said in the chat, if you don't speak at all, let's hear from you, and it made me smile. And I thought to myself, well, I know I speak, but I don't actually speak that often. So I don't even know where I fall into, but actually it doesn't really matter. But what I wanted to say, that's not really what I came on to talk about, but what I wanted to say was, as human beings, we only experience ourselves in relation to other people. So if you live in isolation, you know, you can only experience so much of yourself, but by relating to other people and by what everyone else has said about going out there and meeting people and, you know, giving what you have to give, do what you have to do, that is how we experience ourselves. And that makes us richer. And in this group, I am learning a lot actually about myself, the way I relate to the group. I'm learning from other people, like someone like Therese. I love the way she likes to ask questions, and I'm learning from that because I find it hard to ask for help sometimes. And I think when we talked last week about, I think it was Ego who did the talk about receiving. And when I thought about it, I thought, yes, I find myself always being a giver, and I think that makes it difficult for me to receive. But the thing is, it also then means that I find it hard to ask for help when I need it. So I'm just saying that from being in this lovely group, I'm learning so much about myself. And I thought I knew myself, you know, because part of what I do is a counsellor. And I thought I was quite self-aware, but actually I'm learning so much more about myself by relating to everyone in this group and experiencing myself in this group. And thank you. It's a great journey. And Adrian, thanks for the talk. Brilliant. And thank you everyone that speaks a lot. And thank you those of you that speak less. And those of you that haven't said anything, thank you too, because I'm sure at some point you will find it within you to feel, you know, be yourself, don't feel pressured. You just feel that it's time for you to say something. And when you're ready, we will be happy to listen and be here.
Toyin, thank you so much. You're just radiating your lovely personality from the screen there. I think we can all see it, which is great to see. And you know, as you rightly say, no person is an island. We can try to be, but it generally ends badly. You know, you have to have contact with the outside world. You're not an island. We all need feedback and love and emotion and comments and discussion and company. And that's the terrible thing a lot of people have found during this whole lockdown scenario, that it really affected them badly. So you're absolutely right about that. But we all know you as a person of action that lives in a stressful newsroom every day and delivers, and you can turn all those skills to your advantage. If you work under that kind of pressure, I think you can do anything. I really do. And we loved hearing about the newsroom, and I can only imagine when you've got to deliver an important story at the last minute and not get it wrong, how dreadful that pressure must be. So thanks for all those wonderful comments, Toyin. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Therese has her hand up. Therese.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Adrian. That's such a powerful presentation there. The thing that sort of resonated for me as I'm packing and unpacking is the comment you said, the comment you made about old clothes, old attitudes can be thrown away, and choose your own clothes and new clothes, right? So pack what you want, etc. So, I have been going through boxes. I would say 50% of these boxes have not been opened since my divorce 17 years ago. And then they've just been carried, around with me in my garage for the longest amount of time. And then after I sold my place from apartment to apartment to storage unit to storage unit, I never really had the energy or the fortitude, I suppose, to go through them. And so it is a little daunting, a little Pandora's box, if you will. But I have to say that, of course, and I've said this before, when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. I just was ready. And this group and this journey and this decision to be a part of, Blue Sky and Amazon and creating my own business instead of supporting others in making profit. It's all a part of it, this whole, right? And these boxes, as I'm unpacking them, it's like, I'm ready. I can't wait. And I've spent the last 4 days sorting through my past and pulling from it a few things that bring me joy. Everything else I've given away. I'm not even selling, I'm giving it away. And it feels so amazing. And I feel perfect. It's the right time. I'm happy. I feel like this cloud that followed me for so long is just gone. And anyway, I just wanted to speak to that, and you're all a part of that. And if you are sitting on boxes from the past, let them go. Nothing's going to sting you inside the Pandora's box. So thank you.
That's great, Therese. That's absolutely great. And I'm so pleased that you're able to see it that way and move on. And, this was all meant to happen. You were meant to go through those boxes. You were meant to look at all these things at this point. It's funny how it's all converging. But,
Right.
Isn't the world just full of people trying to tell you how to be or how they expect you to be? And the trouble is we all try and comply, because I think at the bottom, a lot of good people want to make people happy. So they try and comply, try and mold themselves. You'll never change someone else. Just be yourself, and don't feel you have to be something someone else expects or wants you to be. That's affected so many people, and it's such an oppressive weight that we have to shake off. Yeah. So thanks so much, Therese, and I'm glad it's all gone fantastically well, and that you just feel you've jettisoned some of those weights and that baggage.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much. Virginia has her hand up.
Okay, so very quickly, many of you had noticed I had the phone to my ear the whole time. So I got the speaker in one side, I'm on a business call on the other side. I normally cannot attend on Thursdays and Fridays, but I have discovered, like Mark said, that I am addicted to this group. So I have this weekly management meeting that I have to attend, and I look at and everything. So I just kept trying to go back and forth. I missed some of the things that were said, but I've decided now that I need a support group for my addiction to this support group. Okay. But having said that, what I really wanted to talk about, and I put some things in the chat, like for Star, fear, false evidence appearing real. T. Harv Eker, the author of The Millionaire Mind, said, when you have negative thoughts come into your head, you just say, oh, thanks for sharing. And that kind of wipes them away. That works for me. An interesting thing that I came across yesterday, again, is a reminder of, I get a lot from many books, but I get so much from just the Christian Bible. Has so many gems in there that a lot of the authors build on. And I want to talk, if anybody doesn't know the armor of God, Google armor of God. It's in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. It's a conclusion to those 6 chapters that Paul is writing to the church in Ephesus. And when they have negativity coming against them, he tells them to put on this armor. I'm not going to go into what each piece means, but basically you're going to be dressed like a soldier. You're going to have a helmet. You're going to have a breastplate. You're going to have a belt. You're going to have a sword. You're going to have a shield. You're going to have shoes on your feet, which are actually the shoes of peace. And then you're going to stand firm and you're ready to do battle. The interesting point is that if you turned around and fled from the battle, there's no back armor. There's nothing on your back, maybe the back of your helmet. So we are not meant to turn around and flee. We are meant to stay empowered and strengthened and go forward, like burn the ships type thing that we talked about yesterday. So that is like the most important thing to me, is that there's no armor on the back. You turn around, you're dead, your backside's exposed. And that's kind of what I wanted to share on that. So little gems of that. I hope everyone's having a good day. I think I heard my name mentioned a couple times, but I don't know in what respect, so I missed those. And
Virginia, that was very powerful. And, you know, I love imagery because it helps me to relate to what's actually happening. It helps you to understand. And I love the concept of armor, which I mentioned earlier. You know, we are trying to arm ourselves against the unfortunate things that do happen. And we all know they happen every day around us. And we're going to encounter them. So we've got to be ready. That's the kind of armor we've got to build. And I absolutely agree with you. No, you were mentioned after your dramatic display last night in the Glenn Henderson marketing session, which I'm sure now everyone's going to rush to watch.
Well,
but it's,
there are so many more men on this session too that we just need to look and give ways to. So anyway.
Well, there you go.
If anybody want to know, just real quickly, I said that all the men on the call last night, and there was 4 of them, and there was 6 women. I said, they're all so sexy right now. And started roaring, because a woman wants a man who is in touch with their feelings and trying to improve and get better. And I said, and actually pick up a hammer and fix something. So that's what got everybody laughing hysterically. And that I mentioned
it was quite a moment. It was quite a moment, and I think you should all watch it. We were certainly left pretty stunned. I think Mark and I are still recovering. So thank you very much, Virginia. You certainly shook up the call, and everyone's going to go and watch it. So thank you very much for your thoughts. And we're at the top of the hour already. We've got a few hands still up. We've got Edward. His hand is up.
Thanks.
Edward, hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, Adrian, for the opportunity. And thanks for that presentation. It was quite a powerful one. This forum is so enriching. And like Evie said, I can't stop thinking about where it is taking us, but I'm sure it's taking us to a very good place. Now, I don't speak very often. I've had that tendency to underrate myself because of the things that have been put into my box over the years, but I'm working on that, and this forum is really helping me. So I'm really hopeful that very soon I'll be a lot better at speaking. The thing that pushed me hard this time to speak was what Mark put into the chat. He said I think to Gina, you have plenty to offer. Your life's experiences have something for everyone to glean from. And then somewhere he said, never feel you have nothing to offer. And along the way, Kim spoke again as well and said, each life touches another. And I'm thinking, yes, it's important for us to share the experiences that we've gone through so that we touch other people's lives as well in whatever way. It's very important, Adrian, to be who you want to be. And I have looked at my experience and thought it's us who need to purpose, to decide, to go forward and be who we want to be. I'll use very briefly my story. I was born in a little village in Africa where jiggers, alcohol, superstition, fear, name it, ruled the world. And as I grew up, nobody ever gave me a chance of being anything in life because of the things, the environment in which we grew up, the things that were going on around us. But I realized I had to purpose to do something and make something of myself. And I moved out. I studied. I was able to go to university and graduated in social sciences. After that, I thought, no, I don't think this is what I really wanted to be. And I went into architecture. I worked in an architecture office as I tried to study. I became a very good draftsman at that point because I had not qualified. And then I failed to continue because I didn't have the sponsorship. I couldn't pay my fees. And I thought, okay, what is it that I can do that will push me forward into some element of professionalism without having to leave work? And I enrolled for accountancy, and I studied with the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and I became a qualified accountant. And I worked as an accountant, and I enjoyed it, and I became a very good accountant. I had a good record with everybody I worked with. And then in 2008, things began not going very well. And I thought, well, I can make a difference. I'm not getting work as an accountant. What can I do? I quickly decided to train as a business analyst. And I qualified as a business analyst, and I'm working as a business analyst. And today, I'm a top drawer business analyst. The last 3 contracts I have moved with the project manager that I've worked with because he has liked the way I've worked with him so much. So, you know, I just thought as you spoke, Adrian, be who you want to be. And I related that to my life and thought, I wanted to graduate. I studied hard. I went to university. I wanted to become an accountant. I did that. I wanted to become an architect. I did that. I wanted to become a business analyst. I did that. Now I want to become an online entrepreneur. I should be able to do it because it all depends on what you put into yourself and how badly you want it. So I thought I should share that little story of mine in case it touches somebody's life. Thank you very much.
Oh, Edward, that was electrifying, and you certainly did. You really connected, and you're a great speaker. Don't ever not believe that. You can speak anytime, anywhere, and that was electrifying. I really think it was, and you're absolutely right. I think you just have to be determined in the pursuit of your goal, as Nightingale tells us. You have to be determined. Then all you need to do is make a clear plan, and then you execute it. And as John says, it's execution. It's getting it done. And that's exactly what you've done, and you've done it more than once. So I think, look at that, everybody. I mean, really, Edward has decided to do several completely different things and done it. And anything really is possible. I mean, I've changed track so many times and had things happen that I would never have expected. You just never know. But you've always got to be prepared to learn, as Edward's done. It's a constant learning journey throughout life, particularly now as the world is accelerating and changing so quickly and whole industries are being dismantled. So well done, Edward, and thank you so much for speaking today. That was really powerful stuff, and you connected. You're a great speaker. Please speak again. Please, let's hear you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've got the last hand up now is Nancy.
Morning, everyone. Thank you so
Hi.
much for your shares. Thank you, Adrian, for a really important topic. This one I just will share briefly before. I was teaching this morning in the yoga class, which, by the way, you guys, I hope you can show up for that. I would love to see you. Is be who you want to be. I was struggling with, normally I teach with some kind of a theme, and I couldn't get to it because I was so worried about what I was going to do and how I was going to be. So just this. And when I realized what I was doing, I was like, oh, okay, there's the theme right there. When I'm present and breathing and slowing down, I know who I am, and I own that more rather than being in my head up here about what other people are thinking or doing. So that was something. And then I do really think it's important to remember that there are always going to be people that judge us. And it's like, we have to just consider how much weight are we going to put into that, and that it's more important to stay focused on what we think of ourselves rather than what other people think, because that's always going to be changing anyways. And then lastly, for me, when I feel comfortable in my skin and I'm relaxing in my own self, I give permission for others to do the same. And you opened the group this way, Adrian, and I was so impressed by you. You to me, you just seem so relaxed and so natural that it allowed what happened here. And so I think we have to each remember that nobody's performing. This is not about a performance or trying to do something perfect, just shares from our heart. So thank you very much.
Nancy, that was amazing. Thank you. And thank you for everything you said. I mean, I really think if you just are yourself, things touch you, and then you express how you feel, it's authentic and it's really you. And I think that's what everyone here is prepared to do, which is really quite unusual. But as you said, there's never going to be a situation any time where someone isn't going to judge you or have an opinion. Never, never, never. And we've got to learn to live with it. And let's just ignore it. It doesn't matter. As I said when I talked, it doesn't matter. You know, why should they know more about you than you know about yourself? Why? What right have they got? But it's so easy, given our conditioning and the way, again, we've talked about this before, that we're brought up, to take all that baggage on board and carry it around on our back. No, just throw it away. I mean, we're, you know, if you're doing the right thing and you're a genuine person, you're trying to do the right thing. You're going to make mistakes, but what the heck? Just do it, and nobody can criticize you for that. If they criticize you for that, they've got a problem. There's something wrong with them. They've got an insecurity, a hang up. It's normally guilt, something they didn't do, something they should have done, the way they shouldn't have done something. They have to then judge you. They can't bear to open up their own soul and say, well, hang on a minute, what about my own behavior? So let's never forget that. You know, don't believe for a minute all these people are super switched on and righteous and doing the right thing every day. Probably the opposite. So thank you for reminding us again of that, Nancy. I absolutely agree with you. Thank you very, very much. Now we're way over the top of the hour, but Evelyn Smith has put her hand up. So I think if we take Evelyn, then we'll have to close off, I think. Evelyn, hang on. Where is Evelyn?
I want to thank you, Adrian, for this gift. What a gem of a topic, and the way you have worked it out and woven our understanding of what you have to bring on this topic has been incredible. And thank you to everybody too who's spoken. I can't follow you guys. I can't come on as the last person and say anything that's been that's probably more profound. But I just want to thank everybody. I'm not a person that speaks up very much here. Everybody's got a story. Everybody has, you know, we're products of our environment, but we're also products of our story. And without taking up too much time, I just want to tell you that in my particular case, I worked with people very intensively as a high school teacher for 27 years. Some of you people know, probably know my story. And I burned out. I burned out physically, my health went, and I also burned out on working with people. It was very good. There are toxic environments there. And I swore to myself, whatever I do for the rest of my career, you know, my next career, I'm not going to work with people. I said, I'm done working with large organizations of people. Yet you never know what's right around the corner, right? Somebody told me that once, never forgotten it. It's true. This group is the most amazing group. I was involved in another group of personal development some years ago, and I recognized the magic of that group. I don't feel judged. There's not one deprecating comment. No, you know, I learned in that other group that there is no better than or worse than. Like John has said, celebrityism is a total myth. I'm a celebrity, right? And I just feel very safe in this group, and I just want to thank everybody for being here. That's all.
Evelyn, that's wonderful. And you know, when you speak, there is just so much emotion. It's so genuine. I can just feel you coming out of the screen as you, and that's just wonderful. I think it reminds me though, again, we have to do what we love, do what you want to do. You don't do that, there's a terrible disconnect. You're going to be uncomfortable probably every day and never live the way you should have been. And it's this find your why again, find your why that some of us have been exposed to through some of the material we've watched. Reminds you to look at what you're doing, not just on the surface, but what are the elements in what I've been doing that I liked and why? It could be people, it could be working with people, it could be something different that actually it wasn't the activity, it's what it was made up of. So we have to connect with that somehow. Otherwise, we're never going to live as we should have done. And that's an awful lot of days. That's a lot of days of pain and discomfort, which we really want to avoid. And how many of us just carry on locked into a system, carry on, and never re-examine that. So I really agree with you. And, you know, we have to have a system somehow to bring ourselves up short and say, hey, am I doing what I love? Am I doing what I like to do? And we should do that regularly. Things change, you know, things change, or you're off track, and let's remind ourselves. I really agree with you, Evelyn. Thank you very much. We got one. I'll take Louisa, and then we really will have to cut it. I think we're going way over the hour. Louisa's got her hand up, and then I'm really going to cut it off, I think.
Adrian, I didn't want to say anything much, actually. I just put something in the chat earlier just to say that, yeah, I wasn't probably in the right place to say how I feel right now, but I've listened to everybody. I love your talk. Thank you so much. But I said in the chat that when I'm just feeling either down, or I need to be inspired, or I'm finding it just things are really hard, or maybe it's something that somebody said to me, whatever it is, music is a medium for me, and it's just incredible. It's such a game changer. It's a state of mind. It changes my physiology completely, and so I just wanted to just quickly, I was on a Zoom call for my work, and we did this about 4 weeks ago, and a guy put some music on, and it was just extraordinary. But this is what my offering to the group is. Just, I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway, this is a song I play, and I defy you all not to dance.
Can't hear it yet. I can't make that out, I'm afraid, Louisa. You may have to post the title in the chat, and we'll.
Oh my God! Okay. I don't know how you do it. Or can I share my screen? Because is that how I do it?
I don't. Well, it's more complicated.
If I share my screen,
you've got to enable the right audio. I think because we're running out of time, can you post it in the chat and then maybe play it, maybe work it out and play it on the next session? But we'd love to hear it.
I'll try and work it out and play it in the session. But if anybody can do it, this is the song to play yourself.
We'll definitely put it on. Awesome. I love music, and I agree with you. I play music all the time, and it can completely change your mood and keep you going when things are getting a bit tough. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. If you bring it up on YouTube now, I've just been playing it, and it just, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I'm sorry I couldn't do it. I know that you have to do it through your computer audio. But just put it on, guys. I'll try and work it out next time. I'll try and work it out for tomorrow, because it's amazing to see however many people. We had like 250 people dancing. And it's awesome when you look at it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, I'm going to have to bring it to a close for today. Just on the housekeeping front, it's Fun Friday tomorrow. Don't forget that with John. And tonight, Global and Tactical Marketing with Mark Riggle at 8 p.m. Eastern Time US. So that's it for today. And really appreciate the fantastic contributions we've had. We've had some brilliant contributions today. I'm so grateful to everyone, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrian.
See you on Fun Friday.
Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, see you on Fun Friday.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Adrian.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.